Hello, my name is Todd Barron. I'm from the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, and we're doing another author interview for GI endoscopy. And today I'm pleased to have one of my colleagues that I work closely with at Mayo, Dr. Bret Peterson, who's also a gastroenterologist. We work closely together, and Bret's going to talk to us about the Multisociety guideline on reprocessing flexible gastrointestinal endoscopes in 2011. And so, Bret, I wanted to start out. This guideline was available once before, correct?
Right. It was originally drafted and printed in 2003 as also a multi-society effort at that time.
Right. So as far as guideline goes, that's a pretty big gap, I guess, in terms of time. So what has changed between then and now?
Well, the issue of this gap became a pressing need, I think, not only for our specialty, but for those outside of our specialty looking at what we do, because of several incidents across the country that received a lot of publicity and reflect poorly on GI endoscopy. Las Vegas comes to mind, and a couple of other sites. The actual guideline itself on what should be done in the course of caring for an endoscope hasn't changed significantly. The document has changed quite a bit, and we've taken pains to go beyond the fairly limited discussion of the previous document, but it's a bit more dealing with the background of the issues. But the actual recommendations, what should be done in a unit that's been doing a good job, it's not really changed.
So what are these other societies that were involved with this?
The societies that participated this time are almost entirely the same as on the previous occasion. The process we took was a bit different. The previous occasion was a single large meeting with sort of cleanup work thereafter. This process, partly because of costs and partly because of a goal of efficiency, we initiated the revision of the document in the Quality Committee of the ASGE and in the Guidelines Committee of the Society of Healthcare Epidemiology in America, the SHEA organization, which is the other co-sponsor. And we redrafted the document and traded it back and forth a couple of times and to our governing board. Then after that process, we distributed it, not in person, but distributed it to all the other co-signing organizations, which includes all the requisite GI organizations, the ASGE, ACG, AGA, several surgical organizations, SAGES, and the colorectal surgery organization, the operating room nurses organization, AORN, the Association of Professionals in Reprocessing, APIC. Both of the accrediting organizations have signed on to this document. The Joint Commission, as well as new this time, is the AAAHC. So it's a fairly broadly accepted and embraced document by all of those from the previous document.
Sounds like a big undertaking to get that done and get all the societies together, and it sounds like a very important part of what we do, certainly. What are any take-home points for the endoscopists out there before they read this? Any real pearls they can take away from this?
Well, again, what drove it was that there are lapses, and even though the lapses that have had front page coverage are largely not in reprocessing, but more so in infection control processes in the delivery of care, such as IV sedation, management of IVs, et cetera. There's a fair amount of data that when there is an infection after endoscopy, there's usually a breakdown in standard practices. Right. There's also a fair amount of data that even without these high-profile breakdowns, there are huge gaps in performance across the country. And some of this has been published in JAMA and elsewhere in the last year or two. So it's just a call to attention that we need to always be attentive to good reprocessing.
Right. Well, like I said, I think this is going to be a very important document for our ASGE members and those who are involved with managing endoscopy units in all phases. And I appreciate the time you've taken to come and talk to us about the article. So thank you very much for coming.
Thanks.